Hey everybody, Billy Lowe here. I'm going to be doing a little video on the woes I had with calipers on this 75 Corvette. But before I start talking about the caliper problems I ran into, which have been resolved and the calipers are back on the car and the brakes work fine, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the car that I've been working on. And, my wife and I have owned this Corvette since late 80s, and it's been through several paint jobs. The latest one is just absolutely spectacular. It's a 75 L48 originally, but let me move to the engine compartment, and I want to show you a little. This is not the normal L78 motor that you're going to find in a 75 Corvette. It's been bored 60 over, and it's got a internally balanced stroker crank. She's making 388 cubic inches. Edelbrock manifold, the Torquer 2, Holley 750. I'm sorry, Holley 650 double pumper, and roller rockers. It's got the competition nostalgia cam, which is got like a 5.0 lift, solid lifter. The thing screams. And let's move to the interior, and I'll talk about that for a moment. As you see, it's a little, the interior is a little bit messed up. Let's explain what happened. I was doing the job, had a little bit of extra play in the brake pedal, so I decided to take a little of the play off. And in order to do it, now remember, I'm turning 74 in a couple of weeks, so it's easier to take the console or the steering column out to get in underneath there. I'm not able to climb under the dashboards like I used to, and so I pulled the steering column. It was kind of chewed up, looked a little ugly, and this project grew. I cleaned up the steering column, I painted it, and now we're at the situation over here where I have the interior apart, and I'm restoring or redoing all of the interior parts and everything. It's going to really look nice. I've completely cleaned up the seats that are over here, and they're really looking good. It's going to look really good with the interior. The door panels are going to be nice. It's going to come out spectacular. Now let's move back over to my workbench. Oh, by the way, this has a 5-speed in it too. I didn't tell you that. What happened, we get on these parts. What happened is the caliper started to leak. I mean, I put stainless steel calipers in this maybe 30 years ago or more, and they just start, you know, they're old. They started to leak. They're stainless steel. I use the .5 silicone brake fluid, and when I pulled them apart, the pistons were in real good shape because the silicone prevents corrosion, and you know, it repels the water. So they were in nice shape. I went online, and I decided, just because the calipers were leaking, you know, over all these years, the seals go bad. So I'll just get her seal kits, you know, the caliper rebuild kits, and put them in there. So I went online, and I got these from Ray Bestis. Okay, that's one of the rear kits. Well, first thing I did was I pulled apart the front calipers, tore them down. There's a lot of videos on how to do it. It's not that hard. Go look at those videos if you're rebuilding calipers. They'll give you some good hints. But you're going to need to get kits. And this is what this video is about. I bought this Ray Bestis kits. I threw away the boxes for the fronts. The fronts got rebuilt. They went on the car. I go to rebuild the backs, and this is what happens. I take the kit apart, and each kit has, this is your seal. your dust shield. This sits on the outside, prevents dirt from getting in there. This is the seal that goes around the piston and actually seals the fluid. These, you're probably going to either find one or two of these little O-rings. For the front you need two, for the back you only need one. These O-rings go between the caliper halves, and that seals them between the halves. When I opened up the rear kits after I tore the rear brake calipers apart, when I opened up the kits I had 4 of these and 4 of these. This is the seal for the front kit. It's not going to work. Okay, as you can see right here, I need this one, and this is what they gave me in the kit. Both kits had the wrong piston seals. I says, so I go to local Napa, and I get 2 rear calipers, rebuild my calipers, I'm all set. I bleed the brakes. Guess what? The front caliper on the right side is leaking. So I rip it apart, take it apart, replace the seals again because I had extras, because they gave me the wrong seals with the other, they gave me front seals for the rear kit. So I had extra seals. I put new seals in it, took it. Oh, let me back up. The first time I identified a piston, the piston that was leaking. So I redid that one piston, put it back together. It still leaked. So I tore it down, redid the whole caliper, putting all new seals in it again, and put it back together, and it still leaked. Still had problems with it. So I'm getting really frustrated. So I go to Napa and I buy a single front kit, okay? And I put that kit in that right front, no more leaks. Bled all the brakes, took the car for a test ride, and everything was fine. I started working on the steering column, and I jacked up the car and I looked around, and what do I see on my left front is a puddle on the ground and brake fluid running down the tire. I go, well, I said some words that weren't very polite, and I'm not going to say them on this video. Anyhow, jacked it up, pulled the left front caliper, went to the auto parts store, ordered another one of the front kits, and rebuilt it. Everything's fine. And so my result is these Raybestos kits are for crap. If you're buying caliper kits, I can't tell you which one to get, but I sourced mine through Napa and they seem to be working fine. And I just wanted to let you, I looked at these and I noticed on the Raybestos kits, this lip, there's a lip right here on this seal, did not have the spring or the tension that the Napa kit had. So I think these kits just don't have the spring tension to make a seal with the bore, that stainless steel bore that is in the caliper, and that allows it to leak. As I said, with this kit, it's not leaking, everything's fine. So that's the video. I just want you to be aware to stay away from Raybestos. I can't tell you what other brand to buy and that you won't have trouble. But I want to tell you that with Napa, I did not have trouble. So that's it. Thank you. The next stage of Project 75 is to replace the rear. What it has in it now are 411 gears, and with the 5-speed that I put in there, first gear is at a 280 ratio, 2.8 ratio, 2.8 to 1 ratio. Combined with the 411 gears, this is a tractor puller. The rear you see here, 355. By replacing it, I'm going to make first gear, you know, more like 411s with the old Muncie. So first, second, and third should be really good with this car. Fourth gear is going to be the straight 355 and overdrive. Fifth gear will be very nice. So that's my plan. And along with that, I'm going to be replacing the spring And let me see if I, this is the rear spring that I've got over here. There's a picture. It's just laying on the floor right now. But that spring's going to be going in. It has the original spring. And there, maybe I'll talk about that when I do the job. Hope you don't get dizzy watching this. Anyhow, the other thing with this car, and I'll just put it on here, that's a problem, are the half shafts. And I'm going to be doing the U-joints at the time I'm doing the rear. The half shafts have to come out anyhow. And I'm going to be replacing the half shaft U-joints. Might do a video on that. I know there are other videos showing you how to do them. The big one is I did a video explaining about using the flange to bolt to the half shaft flange. It's the flange that goes on the trailing arm. And that flange gives you a good sturdy trailing arm flange, so you can take it apart without worrying about bending it up. So, and after that is done, I'm going to be moving up here, and I want to make the car a little more streetable. It runs absolutely phenomenal right now, but it's not a fun car to drive anymore. Maybe I'm getting old. I know if I was 18 years old, I wouldn't have this car very long, because I wouldn't be around very long. I would kill myself in this thing. This thing's a monster. But anyhow, she's making major horsepower. Anyhow, we're going to change the camshaft in this, and I'm going to take out that Radical 5.0 lift solid lifter cam that gives me 7,000 RPM, and I have it over here, a Crane 327 350 horse cam. It's stock grind hydraulic cam. It's good for up to about 6,000 RPM, and it should be just fine for this car, especially with the 355 rear. Give me a little more bottom end torque. I mean, I'll tell you, when you build a stroker, you do have torque like a big block. You can really see the big difference. They're a lot of fun. And if you build them right, I think you can end up with a fun car and still reliable. So I've got 2 more stages to the project. After I finish the interior, cleaning the interiors, getting that back together, I'm going to do the rear, and then I'm going to do the cam. And that's going to be 2 separate projects. Anyhow, you have a good one.